Kubo in the Two Strings is directed by Travis Knight, with the screenplay by Mark Hames and Chris Butler, and the story by Shannon Tyndall and Mark Hames. Starring Charlize Theron, Art Parkinson, Ralph Fiennes, Rooney Mara, George Takei, and Matthew McConaughey. Young Kubo's peaceful existence comes crashing down when he accidentally summons a vengeful spirit from the past. Now on the run, Kubo joins forces with Monkey and Beetle to unlock a secret legacy. Kubo in the Two Strings is the latest feature film by the studio Laika, a studio that is known for their stop-motion animated films. And the film that they were best known for before Kubo came out was their first feature film, Coraline, which I have seen recently before I saw Kubo in the Two Strings. Now I will provide my review of Coraline since I've decided to review Laika's other films before Kubo came out. But I am going to review this film first before I tackle the other films that Laika has released. If you must blink, do it now. Without a doubt, the highest selling point of this film is the animation. And I really do appreciate the art form of stop-motion animation because we don't get these kind of films often, and I can understand why. Making these kind of films is not easy to do. It's probably easy to do if it's a short film, but a feature-length film, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to pull off. I can understand the challenge that comes with these kind of films. But the fact that Laika has stuck to this art form ever since their first feature-length film with Coraline, I'm impressed with Laika's reputation as a company that focuses on this art form that, I hate to say it, is a dying art form. And I'm glad that Laika is preserving this art form for what it is capable of doing. And Kubo in the Two Strings has some of the best stop-motion animation I have ever seen. I even saw some behind-the-scenes featurettes before I saw this film, and I was already fascinated with how much work was put into this film, and it really shows in the animation of Kubo in the Two Strings. I could not keep my eyes off the screen. My eyes were glued to the screen from start to finish. I kid you not. Kubo and the Two Strings is currently the only stop-motion animated film to be released this year, but it is not the only stop-motion animated production to come out in 2016. A stop-motion animated music video for Radiohead's Burn the Witch was released in May of 2016. Now, I really don't want to go into much detail about the music video for Burn the Witch because I would like to save that for my eventual review of Radiohead's recent album, A Moon-Shaped Pool. Speaking of music, the film score was composed by Dario Marianelli, and I don't find his musical resume all that impressive. But for this film alone, the film score really works, and it was really nice to hear the shamisen played in the film, because that is the instrument that Kubo plays. So it was great to hear that instrument being portrayed in the film. As for the acting, Art Parkinson is great as Kubo. And yes, Art Parkinson is the same actor that played Rickon Stark in Game of Thrones. Moving on. Charlize Theron is also terrific in the film, and I really enjoyed her performance as Monkey. And Matthew McConaughey is another actor that was great to hear too, and I really enjoyed Matthew McConaughey in the film. Now I'm going to give you a bit of a fair warning with this film regarding the casting. George Takei is credited in this film, but I'm going to save you some disappointment by telling you that George Takei really doesn't have a lot to do with the film. He only has a couple lines to say, and that's it. And Ralph Fiennes is alright for what he's given. Another thing that makes this film great is its characters. Kubo is a likable kid, Monkey is an awesome character, and Beetle is quite funny in this film. And what I really appreciate about Kubo in the Two Strings is that it allows the audience to connect with these characters, regardless if you're a child, teenager, adult, elder. These characters are likable, and I grew to love these characters as the film went on, and that's really one of the strongest factors in this film. As for the plot, Kubo and the Two Strings is following the template of the classic hero's journey, and Kubo and the Two Strings does have traditional 3-act storytelling. Now that's at the surface, but deep down, the spiritual themes of this film makes this a deep children's film. If you're going to see this film with a child or children, if you're a parent, relative, or guardian, do keep in mind that there are some scenes in this film that some children may find scary. Fortunately, there are not a whole lot. There are no jump scare type moments. The scary moments I'm referring to are just creepy and eerie, kind of sends chills up your spine. It's that kind of scary moment. So, fortunately, it's not intensely scary, but I can understand if there are some children that might find some moments in the film a little unsettling. But, look at it this way. Younger audiences will not be the only ones scared because Kubo himself is feeling the fear that he's going through. So, it allows younger audiences to connect to Kubo while he is feeling scared as well. I did a little research regarding Kubo and the Two Strings because I really wanted to know a little bit more about what led to the creation of this film. And Travis Knight, the director of Kubo and the Two Strings, has stated that his major influences was Steven Spielberg, Akira Kurosawa, and Hayao Miyazaki. And there is a homage to Akira Kurosawa's films, even if it is a subtle homage, but it is there. Travis Knight and his crew sure did some homework because this film is rich with Japanese settings such as culture, heritage, tradition, art, folklore, and even spirituality. Oh, and they even had a Japanese consultant to make sure they got these things right, and good for them! If you didn't know already, Travis Knight is the president and CEO of Studio Laika. Yes, the director of Kubo and the Two Strings is in charge of this stop-motion animation studio, which is a great thing because this film is very impressive. Not to mention, this film achieved quite a couple of feats, such as the extensive detail of certain facial expressions and the largest puppet ever put in a film set. This film also has a great balance of genres such as action, adventure, comedy, and even fantasy, and they're all blended in very well. And I almost forgot to mention that this film actually uses origami as an animation technique, and I don't recall origami ever used this way, especially for an animated film. I am glad to see that this film was made the way it is and told the way it is. And Kubo and the Two Strings is the best Laika film since Coraline. Overall, Kubo and the Two Strings is a stop-motion animated masterpiece. Not only one of the best children's films of the year, and not only one of the best family films of the year, it is one of the best animated films I have seen this year. Personally, it is my favorite animated film of the year, and one of my favorite films this year. I implore you to go see Kubo and the Two Strings in the theaters when you can. If you love stop motion animation, go out and support this film because Laika put their A+ game in Kubo and the Two Strings. This film takes its audience seriously. I was legitimately surprised because when I saw the trailer, I thought this was going to be a typical adventure film for kids and families, and I was more interested in the art style. But as I saw the film, there was more to that, and I was really impressed. If you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, which just so happens to be one of my favorite television series of all time, Kubo and the Two Strings felt like the closest thing that Avatar fans are going to get to a good Avatar: The Last Airbender film. And I know that's a bit of a stretch, but I'm not kidding. This film did remind me a bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender. This film is the latest example of why I love going to the theaters and talking about films afterwards like I'm doing right now. Kubo and the Two Strings is a unique, creative, heartwarming, emotional, and original film that is a beautiful work of art made with passion. Kubo and the Two Strings gets a 10. If you like this review, feel free to hit the like button. And if you want to follow my channel, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. And as always, you're welcome to leave me a comment if you feel so inclined. And thank you for watching my review of Kubo and the Two Strings. And I shall see you in the next review.
Don't mess with the monkey.